Here we have the Haute42 U16. We're going to compare this today to the B, the T, the S, the P, the G, the R, the M, and the M+. So let's dive in. So here we have our T. The T started these layouts here, right? So here we have our larger keycaps, everything spaced out nice and wide, your screen on top with your activations buttons right here on the top right, your home and your start. And when you look at these other models, they are all the same size keycaps across as the T. They are the same spacing, the same as the T. The U has the rings. So these are small keycaps, but if you took the keycap off, just put a button here, these rings are roughly the size of this one keycap. This single keycap here is the same size as these, it just adds a ring on it as well. So if you like the T, but you want rings and the switch to be slightly taller, maybe 1 or 2 quarters taller than what you would find here, these are about 2 quarters tall, then you would get the U. You could take the screws out and change your design and change your artwork with the acrylic top, the same you can with the T. When you look at the M and the M+, the M is a compact version of the T. This is your medium size. It has, again, the large buttons all across and everything else feels very similar to the T, just a smaller footprint and made out of metal. This pad here, the M+, is roughly the same size as the U and the T. It has the large buttons all the way across. It has the metal build. And this pad here is similar to the P and the R, where it has a plastic base like the P, but it has the rings like the R, and the spacing and left pinky layout, which would be here on the R and here in the U, is again just like the T. So if you're looking at these, that's what you're comparing. Do I want rings? No rings. Do I want metal? No metal. Do I want it large spacing and buttons but compact? Then you would have that here, and that's how you would compare these four. So next, let's do the paper test. Here we take a standard piece of American printer paper, and when it comes to these pads here, we're going to turn it sideways, and you can see that all these pads are roughly the same size. The M is more compact. If you take the piece of paper, fold it in half, and lay it here, it is roughly as wide as a piece of paper, plus 1 adapter, and roughly as tall as a piece of paper, plus 1 adapter. When it comes to the width, the M is not as wide as these three by 3 adapters more narrow, and roughly 2 adapters shorter in height. These three are roughly wider than a piece of paper by 1 adapter, and roughly shorter by 1 adapter. So why would you do this? If you're at home and wondering what these will feel like in person, take a piece of paper and play on it just like this, and that'll give you a good clue of how these feel on your lap or on your desk. Here we have the Haute42 U16 and the R16. So if you're on the fence between these two, you're asking yourself, which one should I get and why? The first thing you're gonna notice is the R has the left pinky right here, whereas the U has it right here on the bottom. Besides that, the layout essentially is the same. What else is different? When it comes to button spacing, the R are roughly, the rings are roughly 2 quarters apart. The U is the same layout as the T essentially. They are roughly 3 quarters apart. When it comes to button height, if you're on a T now, they are roughly 2 quarters tall. The U and the R, the ring is the 2 quarters and the button goes up a little bit higher by about 1 to 2 quarters. So you're looking at roughly 3 to 4 quarters tall for the height on both of these devices. In use, these two feel exactly the same size as height and width. When you go around the pads, you can see there's nothing on the bottom, nothing on the left, nothing on the right, and you have your power and pass-through here on the top. And this pad has the pass-through on the right, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the left, and your power is on the top. So if you're on the fence between the U and the R, your first consideration is, do I want the pinky here or here? Do I want my switches more close together like the R, or a little further apart like the T and the U? And that is your major deciding factor. Besides that, in use, they feel exactly the same. The weight is a little different. They both are very, very light. So you're gonna notice that right off the box. This P is made out of plastic. It doesn't feel cheap. It just feels like a controller. With the plastic base here, it's very light. The R, again, is a thin acrylic body, so it has artwork on the top and the bottom, but it is very thin compared to the T. So you're gonna notice both of these are light and very easy to carry around right out the box. Here we have our U, our S, and our P. If you're on the fence between these three, what you're looking at is you like a smaller style, so you want the S and the P. The button spacing is roughly the same on both these models. In person, these two, when you're playing, feel almost exactly the same. The P is made out of plastic, so it is lighter and feels like a controller. The U is acrylic, so you can change the artwork top and bottom. It feels very dense and well put together, but they both feel essentially the same in use. The U feels a lot like the P. It has a plastic bottom as well, but it has an acrylic top, just like the S, so you can change the artwork on the top. When you go around the devices, the P has nothing on the bottom. Your power's on the left, pass-through on the right, and nothing on top. Your screen is right here, and your home and start to activate are right here on the top and middle. The S, there's nothing on the bottom, power on the left, pass-through on the right, and power on the top. Your screen is right here on the bottom, and your home and start keys are right here on the side to activate the controller. Your U has nothing on the bottom, nothing on the left, nothing on the right, and your power and pass-through on the top. Your screen is right here on the top, and your home and start are right here on the side to activate the controller. When you do your paper test, it's where you take a standard piece of American printer paper, fold it sideways. That is roughly the size of the U plus about one adapter, and shorter by about one adapter. Whereas if you take the S and P, take a piece of paper, fold it right in half, that is roughly the size of the S and P, but they are shorter in height and width by one adapter. All three use the same style switches. They are all Kailh low profiles. Again, these have the rings and these do not. These are closer together and smalls all across, one large on the bottom. This is small across, one large on the bottom, but the ring itself is the same size essentially as a larger keycap. So these will feel as though you had a large keycap going across the whole controller, but the part you activate is small, similar to these. Here we have the U16, the G, and the B16. When you're comparing these three models here, the first thing you're going to notice is these are the Kailh low profile switches. These are both running the mechanical switches here. The base is very similar to the P. It is plastic, so out the box, this will feel very light in your hands, and it has a large footprint just like the T. When you have your B, the B is the same footprint as your S, as an acrylic top and bottom. It has the mechanical switches, these small across the top, one large on the bottom. There's your pass-through port here on the right, nothing on the bottom, power on the left and power on the top. Your activation buttons here on the top, your home and start to activate the controller, and your screen is right here. You have your B, these are all the same switches, mechanical switches. These have your keyboard keycaps. So this will feel like a mechanical keyboard, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the right, pass-through on the top and power on the left. Your activation buttons are in the middle, so your home and start right here to activate the controller with no screen. So if you're comparing these three controllers here, if you have the U and you want something compact, the G, but also mechanical switches, then you would go to this option. If you want that very tight keyboard feel, where you still have the levels on the bottom or you're up on the top, same here, then you would go with the B and you would have that same feel. In use, the Kailh switches and the mechanical switches feel very different. They serve their own purpose, so whatever style you like is what you would find you prefer when it comes to the U and all the other hot models, and these two that run the mechanical switches, the Cherry MX mechanical switches. So that's the U16 compared to everything. If you currently have a T now, but you want some rings and slightly taller buttons, then you will want the U. If you like the T and you want the metal build quality, then you would get the M+. If you like the T, but you want a compact version, which is the medium size, and you would get the M, and that's where the U, again, is the T, the U, the M+, and the M are all the same feel when you're actually using these in use. If you like the rings, then you're looking at the R and the U. The R is slightly closer together compared to the U. The R has the pinky button here, the U has it down here. So that's your true comparison between these two at the end of the day. When it comes to the small form factor, you have your S and your P and your G. These are the same size. These two feel the same as far as tighter spacing, smaller buttons across the top, one large on the bottom, and that's kind of how you would compare them to the U. When it comes to the B, this is your mechanical keyboard in a compact form factor. So if you like the mechanical switches and keyboard keys, then you will look at the B, and that's how you consider all these compared to the U. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Bye.